What's up guys, welcome to the Metal Roofing channel. I'm Thad Barnette. Today we're doing a tool review. A few weeks ago I was in Florida at the Florida Roofing Association's trade show, and I met these guys from Flash Break. They're a new tool manufacturer that specializes in metal roofing tools. So they were kind enough to send me a few different models that they produce currently and a couple that are pre-production models that should be released shortly. I'm gonna review both products that are currently in production and the new products as well. There is the Eave Bender, their original Eave Bender tool in 3 different sizes. Their Paint Saver Bender tool, also in 3 different sizes. And their new unreleased Hemlock tool in a short version and a long version. They also sent me some accessories, some replacement parts, things like that. First, I'm gonna talk about cost and what you get for your money. We'll talk about pros and cons. I spent a day testing these tools on a mock-up I have, and we'll show you some footage of that demonstration as well, so you can kind of get an idea. Let's jump into it. First, we have their original Eave Edge Bender tool in 3 different sizes, 18-inch, 24-inch, and 36-inch. Basically, it's got an 1/8-inch gap here. It's got a bolt-on handle and allows you to fold over the eave edge of your panels or use one of the longer ones for a hip or valley or something like that. We've also got a 90-degree angle bracket accessory that allows you to unbolt the handle and then place the handle at 90 degrees if you prefer that. The next tool that we've got here is their Paint Saver. This is also an edge bender tool. The main difference between the Paint Saver and the original is it's got plastic inserts inside the blade to protect the finish side of your metal, thus the name Paint Saver. What the tool makers had kind of found was a lot of metal roofing installers would use hand seamers, clamps, things like that, and actually tape the edges to make sure that nothing scratches the paint on the eave side where a homeowner or building owner might be able to see. So they came up with this tool with the plastic inserts to help protect that finish. It comes in 18, 24, and 36-inch lengths. That's what I've got here with me today. You can also install the optional angle bracket here to give you 90-degree handle on this as well. I will say all these handles are interchangeable between the Paint Saver and the original Edge Bender. And then finally, we have the Hemlock Seaming Tools. Now, what the Hemlock Seaming Tools do is it helps you close the hem at the eave edge of the roof. It's got a cam here that is controlled with this lever, and you basically place it along the eave of your metal panel and then clamp it down, and you can finish that bend, and it gives it a really nice look. And we've got the short version here, and then also a long version that allows you to get further away from the roof edge for safety reasons. So if you're up high on a 2nd or 3rd story, this will keep you about 2 feet away from the roof's edge, so you don't have to get right on the roof's edge and kind of finish those bends. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Let's jump into the original Eave Bender and talk cost and what you get for your money. I've got the pricing list here. I've got 3 different sizes. There's an 18-inch, a 24-inch, and a 36-inch Eave Bender. The 18-inch comes in around at $175, and then it goes up in $10 increments. So $185 for the 24-inch, and then $195 for the 36-inch. And for that price, you get the blade itself, and then you get a handle, an Allen key, and a single bolt to get that attached. You can also buy them in kits with a 90-degree bracket, and that'll bring the cost up to around $210, $220, and $230 respectively for the 18, 24, and 36-inch. So you can get those as a kit. Now let's talk Paint Saver, cost and what you get for your money. Again, we've got 18, 24, and 36-inch lengths. For my info here, for the 18-inch Paint Saver, that's gonna come in at $350. The 24-inch is $375 and the 36-inch at $400. And what you get for that is the blade itself, the plastic inserts, and the handle and bolts. You can also upgrade to include the bracket with that kit as well, and that would run $390 for the 18-inch plus the bracket, $415, and then $440 for the 24 and 36-inch. All right, let's jump to the Hemlock tools. Again, these are pre-production versions, but they're very close to what the final production models will be. The cost for the short Hemlock, with including the short handle, is gonna be $750. The long version with the long handle is going to be $850. All right, now we're gonna talk pros and cons. Before we start talking about the individual tools, I think a huge pro of purchasing from Flash Break is, you're supporting a small business in Florida. I've talked to the Flash Break owners multiple times. They're great guys. They've really been helpful in answering all of my questions. The biggest thing that they've stressed to me is they're not roofers or tool makers, but they listen to roofers. So if you've got an idea, or if you've got something custom that you'd like, they're more than willing to talk to you about it and help accommodate. So I've got some standard sizes of tools here. I know they do custom sizes as well. They'll do volume discounts. They'll do custom tools, custom handles, anything like that as well. So that's been a huge pro for me. The flip side of purchasing the tools from a smaller company is potential availability. I know you can purchase these right online on their website. They're working on distribution right now, but you can't walk into your average ABC Supply and pull one of these off the shelves today. That might change in the future, but availability is one thing to consider when you purchase these tools. All right, now pros and cons of the original Edge Bender here. Some of the pros is it's manufactured out of aerospace grade aluminum. The handle is bolt on, which means you don't have any weaknesses that are caused by welds. But more than that, all these parts are replaceable. So if you have a situation where you damage a blade, you can take the blade off and just replace the blade, or same thing with the handle or any one of these pieces. Another pro for me is this is an 1/8 inch gap here, which means it'll fit over a striated panel. Sometimes with bending tools that have a narrower gap, it's harder to fit over a striated panel without scratching. Because it's aluminum, this is a super lightweight tool, very easy to use, and that goes for all the different sizes, which is another pro. Having these in multiple sizes is super helpful. One of the cons for me, and this is a reason why they created the paint saver, is it is metal. So you're gonna have that metal to metal potential issue that could cause scratching when you go to bend your panels. That is a good segue into the paint saver. That being a con of this tool is going to be a pro of this tool, where we have plastic inserts instead of metal. That is a huge pro. So the whole idea of the paint saver is you don't scratch your panels when you go to bend those materials. Again, aerospace grade aluminum, super lightweight, interchangeable handles, optional 90-degree bracket. One of the other pros with the paint saver is there's a screw here where you can adjust the hem size. So the Eave Bender, the original, which I forgot to mention, it's got a 1-inch slot here for 1-inch hems. The paint saver has options for 1-inch, 1.25 inches, and 1.5 inches. So all you do is you remove these two screws with the provided Allen key, and then you replace them in whatever slot you need to get the hem size you're looking for. So that's a pro for me. Another one of the pros is you can replace the plastic inserts. You just simply remove these screws and then replace with the plastic inserts that they can send you in kit. One of the cons for me with the paint saver specifically is it's a little bit bigger and bulkier than what the original Eave Bender is, but that's kind of a trade-off that you have when you're dealing with the plastic inserts. So, would you prefer a smaller tool, or would you prefer one that's a little bit bigger but has the capability to protect the finish of your metal panel? And even though a blade is actually wider, it's still a very lightweight tool. This tool also has the 1/8 inch gap here for striated panels. One thing that I wasn't able to test was how long the plastic inserts would last. I know they're polypropylene, so they are pretty durable. I just don't know how many jobs they would last. But the good thing is you can replace them with their replacement kit. So I wouldn't say that's a con, it's just a question that I'm just not sure and wouldn't know until, I got it out on the job site for several jobs. Another good thing, again, 18, 24, and 36 inch standard sizes that you can order for the Paint Saver, and I believe custom sizes as well if you ask them. One of the cons that I had with the 36 inch version was there's only one handle. Sometimes on longer benders, I like to have two handles to give some extra leverage there. This one only has the single mount in the middle. That might be a con for some people, but not a con for others, so that's my perspective there. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons now of the Hemlock Seaming Tool. Pros, couple things. This is cam operated. It's super simple design, so there's not a lot that can go wrong with this tool. Again, it's that same aluminum, so it's gonna be lightweight and durable. The handle is bolted on, so you can change out the handle if anything gets damaged. It's got, again, plastic inserts in the jaws to protect the paint finish of your metal panels. It's got a handle on the back to give you additional leverage. There's this kind of rubberized material here to help protect the finish as well, so you don't scratch the upper end of your panel. There is a preset gap in the jaws, so once the lever reaches a certain spot, it's about right here, the jaws don't compress anymore. So you're not going to overbend or over tighten that hem. You're gonna leave it right where you want it. And that gap can be adjusted based on your project and needs as well. So that's huge to know that it's gonna be a consistent bend every single time. One of the things that I would like to see, and this might just not be the tool for it yet, maybe one day, is yes, you can bend the panels at the eave side, but on a bullnose rake detail, when you have to bend and hem the panel over a drip edge all the way up the roof, it would be great to use a tool like this to close that. But because you're perpendicular to the roof seams, this back handle will actually not allow you to place this flush on the panel because you've got a rib in the way. So that is kind of a con for me. I'd love to see some kind of solution to that. When I was talking to the Flash Break team, this handle is bolted on, they said, so it could be something where they design in the future something that maybe goes up and over a rib to allow you to go up the rake or gable side of a roof. Another pro of the Hemlock is it comes in two different lengths. So you have the short version here, and then you have the long version here. The long version allows you to stay back away from the roof's edge about 2 feet to give your crew a safer time accessing that eave, so they don't have to hang over the side of the roof and use a pair of hand seamers, clamps, things like that to actually clamp down and finish that bend. They can stay away from the edge of the roof, use that leverage of the long handle, and remain safe. All right, check this out. This is what we're closing. This is a high side eave detail. I just bended this over with a standard bending tool. And if I wanted to close this, I'd have to get a pair of clamps, something like that, and then potentially end up damaging my finish. I even tried closing this one off with my hands, so that didn't work. If I wanted to close this off without a tool like this, I'd have to use a pair of clamps, and I'd probably have to use tape or something to protect the finish so it doesn't scratch up the paint. So with the Hemlock tool, again, it's on a cam, and we have this rubber stopper here to protect the paint. Open it up and slide it on the metal, and we can work from one side and go to the other. And I'll actually move around to the back and show you how to operate it. So I'm just gonna go a little at a time here. See what that looks like. Look at that. That is pretty. Let's try this middle one. I've already jacked this middle one up. Let's see if we can fix it. Not bad. So I'm actually going to close this side off here while I'm at it. Nice, okay. One more. All right. One thing I will say is once you get past the point of the cam, it's actually really easy to smash your hand because the handle is right here. I will say that that is a con. But my encouragement to you is don't crank it all the way down, because again, once you get to there, that's as far as it goes. You don't need to take the handle all the way to the bottom. Right, look at that. That is so clean. Not a scratch on this panel. Nice. That just cleaned that up so well. I'm just gonna go from the left all the way to the right. That's nice, very nice. Now it's actually way easier from the other side. Like if you're like this, like if you're on the roof, this is a little awkward this way. Oh, it's so clean. You guys, I'm really impressed with this tool. So easy, and it makes the Eave line look so clean. It's got these plastic bumpers, these plastic inserts that protect the paint, the rubber side here. It just really cleans your roof line up so nicely. Most of the time you will see people using some kind of clamp, duckbill clamp, you know, even like a wide, like a 6-inch jaw, something like that, and actually go in and clamp each one down like this. What that does is it makes it super uneven, for one thing. You run the risk of scratching your paint. So what some people will do is put tape on the inside of the bender's jaws. I've even seen, like, if you're using self-adhered underlayment, to put a little bit of underlayment on there, or cardboard I've seen to protect the paint from getting scratched. But again, with that Hemlock tool, 3 levers down and we're done. Here I'm gonna be bending each panel. It's gonna take me way longer for one thing, and it's just not gonna have the same result. This is what we're gonna be bending. This is the 1-inch hem. It's gonna be on the Eave side. We're gonna use the flash break edge bender. We're gonna go ahead and install the handle here. Super quick installation. And this is the 18-inch version. So, slide that on, just like so. There we go. There's our hem. All right, let's do the other side. We're gonna do the same thing with the paint saver. I've actually already got a handle on this one. It'll be that same 1-inch hem, but this time with the paint saver, we've got the plastic inserts to help protect the metal finish. We've got a 1-inch bend here, but if you wanted to do 1.25 or 1.5 inches, you would just adjust these 2 screws here to any of the corresponding holes. Again, this handle is interchangeable with this tool. All the handles are interchangeable. So let's use the flash break paint saver now. With the plastic inserts, should protect our paint finish, just like that. And there's our bend. Nice and clean. Next thing I wanted to try is either the 24-inch or the 36-inch bender. And so what I want to do is I'm going to cut this panel like it's a valley panel. I'm going to go diagonally, and then I will bend along him. We'll see what that looks like. All right, let's go ahead and use our paint saver, 24-inch paint saver. Sliding right along this bend, just like that. Okay. There we go. So there's the hem for our valley piece. So that's with the 90. All right, closing thoughts. I've been really impressed with the flash break tools, both the original Eave Bender and the paint saver. I've also been super impressed with the Hemlock. The look we've been able to get at the Eave side of the roof was stellar. So really impressed with that. If you're interested, check out flashbreak.com. I want to send a shout out to the team at Flashbreak for hooking us up with these tools, getting to test them out. If you've got questions or other products you'd like us to review, comment down below so we can get on that for you. Subscribe here to the Metal Roofing channel. As always, I'm Thad Barnette. We'll catch you next time.